Here in Istanbul, I worked on chapter 3 of my cosmogonic cosmic soup project. This project gathers 6 costumes for 6 performances dedicated to the chemical elements and mixes mythologies, personal stories and references that feed my work. After carbon and hydrogen, this time it's about magnesium. The lack of magnesium in the human body can cause stress and panic attacks. I had this experience in India with the feeling that my body and mind were totally separated. So for the magnesium character, I wanted to work on the idea of a body separated in two. This project is a combination of research on the god Janus, who has 2 faces, one facing the past and the other facing the future. He is the god of the beginning and of the end, choices, and guardian of the heavenly gates. It is also linked to the myth of the soulmate. Human originally would have been constituted of 4 arms, 4 legs, and with a single head with 2 faces. Thus, who would have feared their power would have cut them in half, condemning them to spend the rest of their lives searching for the missing part. I am also influenced by Japanese erotic prints called chunga, where you can see 2 bodies joined together under large kimonos, and where it is difficult to distinguish who owns the members. So I wanted to create an intimate character who makes slow and sensual movements, does its hair, touch its fingertips, and sometimes sings slowly. It's a symmetric character. On the kimono we can read the word iki, which means 2 in Turkish. This is also a symmetrical word. After the performance, I presented a photograph of the costume worn in one of the oldest hotels in Istanbul. I also presented the double kimono and the wigs linked by a braid. These elements are the complement of the performance.
This is the best fish room in Istanbul.
C'est plus moi de cette génération.
During this Saison's residency, I'm researching the concept of medium. We went to Kochi, India, Venice, and Italy. Each city has shown me a different idea of what medium is. Here in Istanbul, drinking water from plastic bottles is normality. People said Istanbul tap water isn't clean enough. Water seems like such a universal thing, which is not true here. We hear a lot, we should protect water, nature, but I have a doubt about how possible this is, as it sounds like nature is inferior to human, because humans understand the consequences of pollution on nature, still doesn't mean human own nature. I think this idea is very similar to the idea of colonization. I see humans more like other fish or birds who eat the plastic rubbish and die. So maybe one day we could think about how we can survive by drinking plastic. Of course, this idea is ridiculous. We cannot just decide to have the ability to digest the plastic, but this idea is as ridiculous as throwing plastic in rivers and oceans while insisting on having clean drinkable water. Considering this, I want to develop a product to demonstrate this hypocrisy and show human survival after the extinction of water. In my installation, there are plastic glaciers. Inside you can see the pieces of plastic that I collected. There is also new plastic water, which is made to look like candy. You can also find the plastic transparent plate, which represents a fossil. On the front window of the gallery, there is idealized picture of water, which I added to make it look more like plastic. Like Kochi and Venice, there is a virtual reality video. This one in the style of an advertising campaign to encourage people to become plastic drinkers and survive without water. I wanted to display them as pieces of archaeology showing our twisted history.
What can we do? Introducing hydrocarbon, a new water.
C'est beau. Les années folles.
Ama onun bağlantısını nasıl yapacak, nasıl yapacak? O doğru problem.
For this exhibition, my project was to continue some previous research. The idea was to shoot a film in this virtual studio that I create for my experimentation. The project's ambition was to give shape to a simple idea, like a thought captures in a moment and amplify with the fictional approach. The idea of introspective fiction came up with something like a joke. Imagine the possibility of creating an alter ego that would be the perfect person to work with. But of course it doesn't work. I took the opportunity to be in Istanbul to create a project more personal. It's always easier to talk about personal stuff far from home. The film process forced me to use my body as a narrative tool. I scanned myself to integrate my body into this virtual space. The writing of the voiceover was thinking at the same time as the creation of the shot.
Having someone who would be able
to create this good rhythm, it was important for me to write this text as if it's reasoned in my mind. I chose to work with Corentine Lemestre to create this voice. I wanted a feminine voice, quite deep, tired, but also smooth. We decided to record directly on waking at the first time in the morning. To have this voice a little bit broken in the moment of the intimacy of the walk-in.
Some sculpture pondering among themselves.
I asked Chloé Vuitton to compose the soundtrack. It's called Bring a Dreamlike Touch that I like. I put the video in a grid background. It's like representation of this basic 3D space. This wall drawing dialogue quite well with some shot of the film as an extension of the image in the exhibition space. Then I put a blue skin on the wall. This skin was painted at the size of my body, like the main characters in the film. Just like the snake shades its skins, something that we can read off to be able to continue.
sevgi
In Istanbul, I continued my research work around places known to be haunted, but this time I chose to work on drawings and not on a performance. I went to see a wooden mansion located in the Bakirköy district, which is a place that I was advised to visit by people I met. The mansion disappears once a year, according to the local people. During its restoration, a humor says that a worker became speechless after seeing something, but we will never know what he saw. I couldn't go inside because today a family was living there. I tried to talk to them, but the language border didn't allow me to make myself understood. So I decided to take a photography of the facade, which looks like a house of American horror films. In the gallery space, I projected this photography, onto a wall in order to draw it and play on its erasure. This pictorial effect referred to its legend that tells that this house disappears once a year. From this image and these experiences, I created freely and spontaneously several drawings that I presented in the same exhibition room. I also modified the appearance of the room by covering the windows with salt crystals, and I put some crystallized objects to create a magical atmosphere. The work is called "It's Claimed That One Worker Became Speechless." It's an immersive installation thought with the story of this house. Triggers, drawings on the wall, and old paper come from other collective, anonymous and personal stories. These fragments of stories and hauntings interweave in space to create a mysterious dialogue. The composition of details is similar to a poetic's playing on language, its use and its influence on our perception of reality. My interest has been directed towards questions related to the unconscious. How can a context influence my practice? The evanescent figures in my drawings are like witnesses to my experiences in Istanbul.
Tu veux quoi.
C'est vrai?
Ouais. Genre tu fais de la place et... Enfin, on se dit que ça fait partie du boulot quoi. Il faut vraiment le faire.
For the last exhibition with Season 6, I continue working in the same mathematical formula than the last two exhibitions. So art is equals donkey, carrots equals x. For Touch and Go, I present two installations. One with a cactus sculpture of a donkey that I found it in the street, and carrot neon that I put it in the formula. So it was a carrot neon, and then was written by in stickers, artist and donkey equals 6. In the second room, I present a kilim that represents the carrot history, but more exactly the orange carrot history that was created by humans when they start mixing two types of carrots, the red and the white one. So this happened in the 15th century in Holland, where they mixed these two types of carrots like a political symbol to honor the French principauté en orange. So for this kilim I worked with a physician for Oxford, Santiago Paredes, who helped me building with a mathematical formula how to arrange the colors and show them in the kilim. And for this I work with a small company that I found walking around at the Grand Bazaar in Istanbul. They worked for me for 1 month, and so I sent them the image and they start producing since the beginning of the residency. And well, that's what I showed at the end, these two installations, basically talking about carrot and card history and the representation with my formulas.
What I like about photography is to look for ways not to freeze the image, to prolong its revelation. I found in this residency an opportunity to think about a nomadic image, which can be moved and replayed differently through other mediums and contexts. Sort of discretion to revolve around photography. So for that I brought to Istanbul images I took before. I select only those that allow me to talk about a photographic experience, the question of the frame, the point of view, the flatness of the image and its support. These are images of zoos, greenhouses, and places on standby, which never really turn off, whose flowers don't exactly wither and on which man keeps control. Natural habitats recreated and which leave a large place to the spectator. What space we'll look at and from which point of view. There's these two photographs of flowers, almost the same, but with a slight different of point of view. I put them back flat on the same surface, a mesh, which delimits the space of the installation from what is inside and outside. And step by step, I built this space as a global image made up of fragments. The commentary plays an important role in my work too, as it moves the photograph subject. Often the voice operates in my work as an introspective speech afterward. When I met Mehmet, a beekeeper from Istanbul region, things were reversed. The speech came first.
öğlende az çalışırlar.
I present short videos in which the element of an environment domesticated by mermaids crawl by and reveals the lake of an approximate translation. Everything underlies the idea of a transitional state of forms, as if the landscape I photograph remains an unfinished image, which will have to be constantly shaped to give new meanings to it.